The ballroom glowed with crystal chandeliers. CEO Aria Lorne stood in her blue satin dress, raising her wine glass. Then four men closed in around her. One leaned close, his voice dripping with contempt. "This is a man's playground. You're just decoration, sweetheart." Her glass tilted. Wine spilled. Laughter echoed through the room. At the back, a man in a simple suit set down his drink. His hand gripped his trembling daughter's shoulder. He stepped forward, his voice deep as steel. "Hands off the lady." 10 seconds later, all four men lay groaning on the floor. The entire ballroom fell silent. Aria covered her mouth, eyes wide, as she spotted a familiar tattoo. Jack Mercer was 38 years old, once a Navy SEAL, now a carpenter who built furniture to support his daughter. His wife died 4 years ago. Since then, it had been just him and Chloe. Just the two of them figuring out life one day at a time. Chloe was 10. She loved collecting seashells and arranging them into starfish shapes. She said they were good luck charms, protection symbols. Tonight was unusual. Jack had been invited to a corporate gala. He'd built custom furniture for Wynn Corporation's new headquarters. Quality work, the kind that got noticed. The invitation said +1, so he brought Chloe. The moment they walked into the ballroom, Jack knew they didn't belong. Crystal chandeliers, marble floors, men in $1,000 suits, women in designer gowns. A string quartet played softly in the corner. Jack wore his only suit, bought off the rack 5 years ago. It fit okay, but it wasn't tailored. It didn't shine. Chloe held his hand tight. She wore her Sunday dress, the blue one with white flowers. She'd brushed her hair 3 times before they left. "Daddy, it's so pretty," she whispered, staring at the chandeliers. "It is," Jack agreed. "Just stay close to me, okay?" They found their table. Name cards marked their seats. Jack Mercer, guest, tucked in the back corner. Away from the main stage, a waiter passed by, glanced at Jack, then at his suit. His expression shifted, polite but distant. "Can I get you something, sir?" "Water for her, beer for me, whatever you have." The waiter nodded and left. Nearby tables started filling up. Executives, investors, people who spoke in acronyms and laughed at jokes Jack didn't understand. A man at the next table leaned over. Expensive watch, perfect hair. "You're the carpenter, right?" Jack nodded. "That's right. Good work on the conference room table. Very solid." The man smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "I almost thought you were a caterer who got lost." His friends laughed. Not mean, just casual. Like it was funny. Chloe looked down at her lap. Her fingers played with the small starfish shell she'd brought, her good luck charm. Jack placed his hand over hers. "It's okay, sweetheart." But it wasn't okay. He could see it in her face. The way she tried to make herself smaller, less noticeable. Then the speeches started. Welcome remarks, company achievements, future plans. Aria Lorne took the stage. Young, maybe 30, sharp blazer, confident voice. She talked about innovation, about building things that lasted, about craftsmanship. Jack listened. She was good, genuine, not reading from a script. After the speeches, people mingled. The bar opened, music got louder. Jack stayed at his table with Chloe. He didn't try to network, didn't approach anyone, just sat quietly. Then he saw it. Aria was near the bar, talking to someone. 4 men approached her, circled around. Too close. One of them touched her elbow. She pulled back slightly. They laughed, stepped closer. Jack's jaw tightened. One of the men leaned in. His voice carried across the room. "This is a man's playground. You're just decoration, sweetheart." Aria's face went tight. She tried to step back, but they had her boxed in. Her wine glass tilted. Red liquid splashed onto the floor. The men laughed louder. Jack stood up slowly. His chair didn't make a sound. Chloe looked up at him. "Daddy? Stay here, sweetheart. I'll be right back." He walked across the ballroom, calm, steady, every step deliberate. The crowd noticed. Conversation stopped. Heads turned. Jack stopped 5 feet from the group. The 4 men turned. One of them smirked. Can we help you, buddy? Jack's voice was quiet, but it cut through the noise like a blade. Hands off the lady. Before we continue, I want to ask, where in the world are you hearing this story from? It's amazing how one voice can cross distance and reach you. Hit subscribe to stay with us, then come back for what happens next. The four men turned to face Jack. The leader was tall, expensive suit, gold cufflinks. He looked Jack up and down with disdain. This doesn't concern you. Go back to your table. Jack didn't move. I said hands off the lady. The man laughed. Or what? His friends joined in, mocking, confident. Arya stepped back slightly. Her eyes met Jack's. Something flickered there. Recognition? She couldn't place it. Sir, it's fine, she said quietly. I can handle this. Jack kept his eyes on the four men. I'm sure you can, but you shouldn't have to. The leader's smile faded. You need to learn some manners. He reached out, grabbed Jack's shoulder, hard. What happened next took 10 seconds. Jack's hand came up, fast, precise. He trapped the man's wrist, twisted. The man's face went white. Jack swept his legs. He hit the floor hard, one down. The second man swung, wide, angry. Jack ducked, palm strike to the solar plexus. The man doubled over, knee to the face, he dropped. Two down. The third man grabbed a wine bottle, came in fast. Jack sidestepped, caught his arm, used his momentum, threw him over his hip. The man crashed into a table. Glasses shattered. He didn't get up. Three down. The fourth man backed away, hands up. Okay, we're done. Jack let him go, turned to Arya. The entire ballroom was silent, 100 people watching. Arya stared at him. Her hand covered her mouth. Her eyes were wide. Because when Jack had moved, his sleeve had ridden up. There on his wrist was a small tattoo, a sailing ship, simple black ink. Most people wouldn't recognize it, but Arya did. Her breath caught. 8 years ago, Caribbean operation, trade delegation ambushed, guns, chaos, blood. A man appeared. No face she could remember, just a voice. 3 words. That's enough. He stood between her and 6 armed men, took 2 bullets, saved everyone, then vanished. They told her he died, bled out before extraction, classified. But she'd seen his wrist, that tattoo, the SEAL team marker, and now here it was again, on a carpenter. Security rushed over. Sir, you need to come with us. Jack nodded. I understand. He looked at Arya. Are you okay? She couldn't speak, just nodded. Jack turned to leave, but a small voice called out. Daddy! Chloe ran over, scared. She crashed into his legs. It's okay, sweetheart. Everything's fine. She held up a small starfish made from seashells. You forgot your good luck. Jack took it, smiled. Thank you, baby. He handed it to security. Can you give this to Miss Lorne? My daughter wanted her to have it. The guard took it. Jack walked away with security. Chloe held his hand. Arya stared at the starfish, at the careful arrangement of shells. Then she noticed something, scratched into one shell. Tiny. Coordinates. Her heart stopped. The exact coordinates of the Caribbean safe house from 8 years ago. She looked up. Jack was at the door. She called out, Wait! But he was gone. The ballroom erupted, people talking, phones recording. Within minutes, the video was online. CEO rescued by mysterious carpenter. Single dad takes down 4 men. Who is Jack Mercer? By morning, it was everywhere. The headlines were brutal. CEO Lorne needs bodyguard at own event. Win Corp CEO can't handle business without muscle. Is Arya Lorne too weak to lead? The board called emergency meetings. Investors demanded answers. Arya sat in her office, exhausted. Her assistant knocked. Someone's here, about last night. I'm not taking visitors. It's a little girl with shell starfish. Arya looked up. Send her in. Chloe walked in carefully. Jack stood behind her in the doorway. Hi, Chloe said softly. I'm Chloe. My dad said you might be sad. So I brought more starfish. For protection. Arya's throat tightened. She knelt down. That's very kind. Chloe handed her 3 more, each carefully made. My mom used to make these, Chloe said, before she died. She said starfish can grow back their arms if they break. That means they're survivors. Arya looked at Jack. He stood silent. She stood slowly. Can we talk? Privately? Jack hesitated, nodded. Chloe, wait outside with Miss Chen. Chloe left. The door closed. Arya turned to Jack. Her voice shook. Caribbean. 8 years ago. You said that's enough. Then you took 2 bullets meant for me. Jack's expression didn't change. You're mistaken. I'm just a carpenter. No. Her voice firmed. You're not. She held up the starfish, the one with coordinates. You left this. You wanted me to know. Why? Jack was quiet. Then he spoke. Because what's happening to you now? The rumors, the attacks, someone's orchestrating it, and I think they're the same people from 8 years ago. Arya's blood ran cold. They're back? Jack nodded. And this time, they're not just coming for you. They're coming for everything you built. Outside, through the office window, a black car idled. Inside, a man watched. He pulled out his phone. Confirmed. The seal is alive, and he's with her. He hung up, smiled coldly. Let the games begin. When 4 men went down, the entire ballroom fell silent. A single dad stood up, and a young CEO covered her mouth in shock. If you were there, which moment would stop your heart more? The words, hands off the lady, or the trembling recognition when she saw his past? Leave a comment right below. Arya's office felt smaller suddenly, the walls closing in. The same people, she repeated. You're sure? Jack moved to the window, looked out at the city. The attack pattern is identical. Discredit you publicly, isolate you from your allies, then strike when you're vulnerable. But why? It's been 8 years. Because you survived. Jack turned to face her. You were supposed to die in that warehouse. When you didn't, you became a loose end. Now you're a CEO with resources and influence. That makes you dangerous. Arya sank into her chair. I don't understand. Who were they? What did they want? Arms dealers, international syndicate. They were using that trade delegation as cover to move weapons. You stumbled onto evidence. They couldn't let you leave. And you. Jack's jaw tightened. I was part of a classified operation. Wrong place, right time. Heard the gunfire. Went in. They told me you died. They needed everyone to believe that, including the people hunting me. Arya looked at him carefully, really looked. The lines around his eyes, the way he held himself, the quiet readiness. You've been hiding all this time. I've been living. There's a difference. With your daughter. Jack softened slightly. Chloe is everything. I gave up that life to give her a normal one. But now you're exposed. Because of me. No. Jack's voice was firm. Because of them. They orchestrated everything. The harassment at the gala. The men who confronted you. They wanted to see if I'd react. If I was still alive. Arya stood up. Paced. So what happens now? Now they know. And they'll come. For you. For both of us. The words hung in the air. Heavy. Arya's phone buzzed. She glanced at it. Her face went pale. What is it? She turned the screen toward him. A news alert. Board of Directors calls emergency vote. Arya Lorne's leadership in question. Jack frowned. When? Tomorrow. 2 p.m. That's the move. Get you removed. Strip your protection. Then they have clear access. To what? Your company's security contracts. WinCorp handles encryption for half the government's communication systems. If they control that, Arya's eyes widened. They control everything. Jack nodded. She looked at him. Really looked. You could walk away right now. Take Chloe. Disappear again. This isn't your fight. Jack was quiet for a moment. Then he spoke. My daughter asked me once why I stopped being a soldier. I told her soldiers protect people who can't protect themselves. She said, but Daddy, you still do that. She was right. He stepped closer. You don't deserve this. Neither does anyone working for you. So no, I'm not walking away. Arya's throat tightened. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. We need a plan. They spent the next 2 hours going through everything. Security protocols, board member backgrounds, potential threats. Chloe waited outside, coloring quietly with Arya's assistant. Finally, Arya leaned back. The vote is tomorrow. Even if we survive that, they'll just try again. Then we don't just survive. We expose them. How? Jack pulled out his phone, opened an encrypted folder. I kept files from the Caribbean. Names, transactions, evidence I was never supposed to have. Why didn't you turn them in? Because the moment I did, I'd be dead, and Chloe would be alone. Arya looked at the files, thousands of pages. This could bring down their entire network. If we can authenticate it, prove it's real. I know people, journalists, federal investigators, but they need corroboration, Jack thought. There was one other survivor from the warehouse, a local translator, Maria Santos. She saw everything. Where is she? Last I heard, Honduras. Witness protection. Arya grabbed her phone. I can find her, but it'll take time. We don't have time. The vote is tomorrow. Then we buy time. Arya stood. Decision made. I'll face the board. You find Maria. We regroup after. Jack shook his head. Splitting up is exactly what they want. You have a better idea? Before Jack could answer, the office door burst open. Security rushed in. Miss Lorne, we have a situation. What kind of situation? Protesters, outside the building, hundreds of them, calling for your resignation. Arya moved to the window, looked down. The street was packed. Signs, chanting, cameras. That was fast, Jack muttered. Arya's assistant appeared. Pale. It's worse. Someone leaked internal emails. They're saying you've been embezzling funds. That's a lie. I know, but social media doesn't care. It's trending. Jack's phone buzzed. He looked at it. His expression darkened. What? Arya asked. He showed her a photo of Chloe at her school, taken that morning. Below it, a message. Back off, or she's next. The room went silent. Jack's hands clenched. His voice dropped to something cold. Dangerous. That's a mistake. Arya touched his arm. Jack, we need to think. I am thinking. They just threatened my daughter. There's nothing to think about. He turned to security. Get Chloe, now. Bring her here. Don't let her out of your sight. Yes, sir. Jack looked at Arya. Change of plans. You're going into lockdown. Full security. No one gets in or out without my clearance. And you. I'm going to remind them why they were afraid of me in the first place. Arya grabbed his arm. Don't. That's what they want. They want you angry, reckless. Jack's eyes met hers. Still cold, but controlled. I'm not angry. I'm focused. And I'm not reckless. I'm a professional. He moved to the door. Stopped. Looked back. 8 years ago, I saved you because it was the right thing to do. Today, I'm doing it because you're worth saving. And because they made this personal. He left. Arya stood alone in her office, heart racing. Outside, the protesters chanted louder. Her phone rang. Unknown number. She answered. A voice. Smooth. Amused. Miss Lorne? Enjoying your day? Who is this? Someone who wants to help. The board vote tomorrow. Withdraw voluntarily. Step down. We'll make the problems go away. And if I don't, then things get much worse. For you, for your company, for everyone you care about. The line went dead. Arya looked out the window, at the chaos below, at the city she'd worked so hard to serve. Then she looked at Chloe's starfish, still on her desk. Survivors, the little girl had said. Arya picked up her phone, started making calls. If they wanted a fight, she'd give them one. The boardroom was packed. 15 directors, dozens of shareholders, cameras from 3 major networks. The air felt thick with anticipation. Arya walked in alone. No lawyers, no advisors, just her. The lead director, Malcolm Green, sat at the head of the table. Silver hair, expensive suit, cold eyes. Miss Lorne, thank you for joining us. I wasn't aware I had a choice. Murmurs around the table. Green smiled thinly. Let's begin. As you know, serious allegations have surfaced. Embezzlement, misuse of company resources, endangering shareholders through personal entanglements. He gestured to a screen. Emails appeared. Financial records, all fabricated, but convincing. These documents suggest a pattern of misconduct. The board has lost confidence in your leadership. Arya stood calm. Those documents are fake. You have proof? Do you have proof they're real? Green leaned back. The burden of proof is on you, Miss Lorne. This is your company, your responsibility. Another director spoke up. Rebecca Chan, younger, sympathetic. Arya, we want to believe you, but the optics are terrible. The protest outside, the media coverage, investors are pulling out. We're losing millions every hour. Because someone wants you to panic, Arya said firmly. Someone is orchestrating this, and you're playing right into their hands. Green's jaw tightened. That's a serious accusation. Do you have evidence? I do. The room went silent. Arya pulled out her tablet. 3 days ago, shell companies in the Cayman Islands purchased significant shares of Wind Corp. The purchases were hidden behind layers of holding companies. But if you trace them back, they all lead to one source. She pressed a button. A name appeared on the screen. Volkov Industries. Green's face went pale. Volkov Industries, Arya continued, was the front company for an international arms syndicate. 8 years ago, they were smuggled weapons through Caribbean trade routes. A SEAL team shut them down. Or so we thought. She looked directly at Green. Except they didn't shut down. They reorganized, changed names, infiltrated legitimate businesses. And now they're here, in this room. Green stood up. This is absurd. You're deflecting. Sit down, Malcolm. The voice came from the doorway. Jack walked in. He wore a suit now. Simple but clean. Behind him, 2 federal agents, and beside them, a woman, mid-40s, nervous but determined. That's Maria Santos, Jack said. She was a translator for the UN delegation in the Caribbean. She witnessed the weapons trafficking. She saw everything. Maria stepped forward. Her voice shook but held. I saw men loading crates marked as medical supplies. Inside were assault rifles, explosives. They were going to kill everyone who knew. She looked at Arya, including her. Jack placed a folder on the table. These are authenticated records, transactions, communications, names, including several members of this board who've been receiving payments from Volkov front companies. He looked at Green. Starting with you. The room erupted, directors shouting, cameras flashing. Green grabbed his briefcase. I don't have to listen to this. One of the federal agents stepped forward. Actually, you do. Malcolm Green, you're under investigation for conspiracy, money laundering, and corporate espionage. This is a setup. No, Arya said quietly. This is justice. Security escorted Green out. 2 other directors followed, their faces ashen. Rebecca Chan stared at the remaining board members. We need an emergency recess. Now. The room cleared, except for Arya, Jack, and Maria. Arya turned to Maria. Thank you. I know this wasn't easy. Maria smiled weakly. I've been hiding for 8 years. I'm tired of hiding. She looked at Jack. You saved my life once. Let me return the favor. Jack nodded. You already did. Maria left with the federal agents. Arya sat down heavily, the adrenaline fading. Is it over? Not yet, Jack said. Green was middle management. The real players are still out there. But without access to Wind Corp, they'll find another way. They always do. Arya looked at him. So what do we do? Before Jack could answer, the door burst open. Chloe ran in. Daddy! Jack caught her, held her tight. Hey, baby, you okay? I saw it on TV. You were so cool. Jack laughed. Actually laughed. Thanks, just sweetheart. Chloe turned to Arya, pulled something from her backpack. Another starfish. This one bigger, more elaborate. I made this for you because you're a survivor too. Arya took it, her eyes filled with tears. Thank you, Chloe. She looked at Jack. I want to do something for both of you. You don't owe us anything. Yes, I do. Arya stood. Decision made. I'm creating a new initiative, the Starfish Project, named after Chloe's art. It'll fund security and support for whistleblowers, people like Maria who risk everything to do the right thing. Jack started to protest, but Arya held up her hand. And I want you to run it. Head of Security and Operations. Full salary. Benefits. Protection for Chloe. I'm not qualified. You're the most qualified person I know. You saved my life twice. Once with bullets, once with truth. She knelt down to Chloe's level. And you, young lady, your starfish are going to be our symbol. Every building, every document, every mission. Chloe's eyes went wide. Really? Really? She looked up at Jack. Your daughter taught me something. Starfish can regenerate. They survive. They adapt. That's what we're going to do. Jack was quiet. Then he smiled. Chloe, what do you think? Chloe hugged Arya. I think Miss Arya needs us. Arya hugged her back, looked at Jack over the little girl's shoulder. I really do. Jack extended his hand. Arya took it. Okay, he said, but we do this my way. Full transparency, no secrets. Deal. Outside, the protesters had dispersed. The news was breaking. Green arrested, corruption exposed, WinCorp stock stabilizing. In the boardroom, a single dad, a CEO, and a 10-year-old girl who loved making starfish from seashells stood together. The fight wasn't over, but for the first time in 8 years, none of them were running. 1 month later, the Starfish Project launch made international headlines. A CEO using corporate resources to protect whistleblowers and survivors. Chloe's starfish design appeared everywhere. Billboards, buildings, social media, 12 countries. Jack worked behind the scenes, training teams, building protocols, staying quiet, until Arya invited him to the press conference. Chloe should see this, Arya said. She should know what her art created. The conference hall was packed. Journalists, advocates, survivors. Arya stood at the podium. 1 month ago, I almost lost everything, but 3 people changed that. She gestured to Maria Santos, who risked everything for truth. The crowd applauded. Jack Mercer, who proved real strength is choosing when to fight and when to protect. Jack stood uncomfortably.